Hey guys, welcome back to Wanna Be a Barber. In this video, you're gonna get to learn how to do a low drop fade with a comb over, so stay tuned.
Jumping right into the haircut, we're gonna start off by caping our client. A couple of key points you wanna keep in mind is to not put the cape on too tight. You want the client to be able to breathe, so make sure you can still fit like at least one finger around the client's neck in between the cape. So I'm starting off here just by combing the hair out, making sure everything is laid flat, and here I'm actually going to do the sectioning for the comb over. And the hair was kind of difficult to work with, so I had to water it down, make sure it's laying flat, laying the way I want it. You definitely don't want to skip this step. This is very crucial for the haircut. So now we're going to go on with our clippers and use the 1.5 guard, and I'm just going to start debulking. And I don't know if you can tell here, I'm actually feeding the hair to the clipper with a comb. If you haven't tried this technique, you should definitely give it a try. Just be careful. I'm doing this to start giving the head some shape. It definitely helps me start to set that shape in that I want. So now I'm going to set in my bald line. And since it's a low fade, you want to start it very low on the C cut. That's the positioning of a low fade. And I'm going to drop it here in the back to contour to his head shape, and then everything that's under that bald line that I set in is going to get erased. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm making sure I don't miss anything. I see some people leaving some hairs behind the ears, or I don't know, you just want to make sure you take everything out. You don't want to leave any little hairs behind. So I always like making the client feel comfortable, and I'm going to be doing that a lot throughout this video. So now I'm just going to use my foils to get the stubble down, and key point here is not to go straight up with your foils. Sometimes it could even hurt the client. I've gotten some clients saying that others barbers have done that before. So you want to make sure the client is comfortable, and don't go straight up. So go side to side and start off by going down with it too. So now I'm going to jump in with no guard, just the lever open, and I'm going to set in my first guideline. And it's going to be a finger's width. This is my first guideline that I'm working with, so I'm going to make sure I go back and run it multiple times to make sure it's down to that length. Now I'm going to do lever halfway, and I'm going to go up halfway of that guideline, and that's going to start softening up that section so that I can start to fade just that first guideline that I made. Now I'm going to close the lever, and I'm just going to attack just that little bottom line that you can see there. And yeah, that's basically the technique that I'm going to be using for every single guideline. So now I'm just going across the head and doing the same thing. You want to keep everything very neat, so any section that you're working on, you want to make sure you're being very neat with it. Remember, how you start is how you finish. You don't want to have a choppy haircut. Definitely not. The client's not going to be happy. So yeah, like I said, I'm just going across the head, taking my time. This is probably the hardest section to fade out, so take your time. I'm going to go with the 1 guard, lever open, and I'm going to set in my second guideline. Remember, a finger's width is the size of every section that you should be doing for every guideline. So that's what I'm doing here, making sure I do multiple passes. Now, I'm going to go in with my half guard, using the lever halfway, and just going up halfway, that section that I made, that guideline, just halfway up. And that's going to soften it up. And now I'm going to close the lever and just attack that bottom line. So it's pretty similar steps. The steps are the same, just that you got to obviously now put on a guard. The steps are the same throughout every single guideline. The only difference is that now we're using guards. And that's what I'm doing across the head here. You can see me flicking the lever here and there. And that's basically it. If you get this fundamental down, that's going to make it easier for you to do any type of haircut. So yeah, if you learn the fundamentals, everything else will come. So now I'm just going to jump in with my 1.5 guard again, and I'm just going to go straight up into my client's head. I'm not digging into his parietal ridge, and that's because I know this client's head shape, and I know if I were to dig in, his head shape would look kind of round, and I don't want that. I want to give him like a squared off, tapered look and make it look nice. So I'm just scooping out. If you can see here, it's a scooping motion. Now, I'm going to go back with my 1 guard. Just because I already used it once, doesn't mean I can't go back and detail with it. Anytime that you see some dark spots or a certain line maybe that hasn't been erased, it means that you need to do some detail work. And don't be scared to go back and use another guard that you already used before. That's part of it. So yeah, cleanliness is very crucial for me. So I'm just detailing here. If you don't detail your work, the client's not going to like it. So be very detailed with everything that you do. And here we're coming up to a cameo. So meet my brother Victor. He wanted to be in the video, so we're putting him in here. And now I'm just going to go up with my lineup. And not every client is going to need a lineup, so just do what you can. Make the client feel comfortable. And just show them that you know what you're doing. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. I'm just taking my time, making sure everything is combed down. You always want to do that whenever you're doing a lineup. You don't just want to start putting in lines, random lines. And here I'm just doing the C cup. I hear many people struggle with the C cup. You just want to take your time with it. It's like a rounding movement that you kind of have to do. Vertical bars are pretty self-explanatory. And here again, just it's kind of like a rounding motion for those vertical bars. I'm going to dust my client off and make them feel good. And now we're going to move on to the shear work. Many beginners struggle with shear work. If you're scared to grab your shears, then you're never going to make progress. So if you don't know how to do shear work, the only way to learn is by picking up your shears. So I'm just working in sections here. You never want to grab too big of a section, because then it's going to get harder for you. So my client asked for a very big chop here. His hair was pretty long, almost about 5-6 inches, and he basically told me to bring it down to like 2.5-3 inches. And so it's a pretty big chop for him. He was pretty excited. He said he's been waiting for a couple weeks. He hadn't had the chance to come in, so now we're just cleaning him up. And if you can take a look here, I'm obviously trying to fade in the top into the sides. You obviously want to match the two up. You never want to have just a strong disconnection between the bottom and the top. You definitely want to blend in your work. That's going to make it look more professional, and the client's going to love it even more. So it's not even a comment here. I'm a clean freak, so I always make sure my client is dusted off, clean. And now we're going to move on to the hairstyling. And this is something that many people skip. So hairstyling is, to me, the other part of barbering. If you don't style your client's hair, they're just going to walk off with wet hair, and they're not going to know how to rock the haircut that you just gave them. So we're going to give him a comb over, and I'm using my blow dryer here to position the hair in the direction that I want it in. I'm kind of using this brush. It's called the vent brush. If you don't have one, you should definitely get one for straight hair. And I'm kind of rounding his hair off to give it that shape that I want. And I'm definitely using this to my advantage, and it's going to help you do it as well. So give it a try. I'm going to use some hair gel and start to style his hair into that comb over position. You don't want to just smack on the gel anywhere. If you see, I'm kind of rubbing it in my hands, and that definitely stretches the amount out, so you don't have to use too much. So now I'm going to do a final clean here. Just make sure any hair that's on his forehead, on his face, that definitely makes the client feel good. You obviously want to give the client a good experience, because the client from 10 years from now isn't going to remember the haircut that you gave him. He's going to remember the experience and what you guys talked about. And so that's the most important part. He also asked me before he left if I can clean up his eyebrows. So we're going to take a couple seconds here and do that. I'm obviously prepping here with Tune 45. I don't just want to go straight in with dry razor. I see a lot of people doing that. I personally don't like that. So I'm making sure I take the time to prep his face with some Tune 45. So we're getting pretty close to the end of this haircut. If you guys want to see any specific cut, just let me know in the comments section below, and I will definitely be sure to read your guys' comments and make sure to make a video about it. I know there's very extensive amounts of haircuts that we can do, and there's an infinite amount, honestly. But yeah, let me know what you guys want to see. So I'm going to show you guys the final cut here. Take a look. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and be sure to like this video and subscribe. It really helps me out. Love you guys. Peace.